Hey Walking Dead fans, this video will be some Season 10 theories, and we'll go over several things, and I don't think there's any spoiler alerts. This will be mostly theorizing and just some predictions. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Season 10 of The Walking Dead is on its way, so tons of videos will be coming to the channel. And we'll start with Michonne and some stuff about her. You know, back in Season 9, we knew that Rick was going to exit the show, and we didn't know what was going to happen. Not just we didn't know if he was going to die or what was going to happen, but we didn't know what was going to happen to the show itself. If the main character, if Rick Grimes is leaving the show, we already lost Carl and so many others. If Rick's leaving, will the show die as well? But it didn't. It actually thrived, and everybody's really anticipating Season 10 on its way, the Whisper War. But we also know that Michonne is going to be leaving the show. We know Rick's not going to be coming back to the show because Andrew Lincoln, he said, "I think that's not going to happen. I wouldn't want to tarnish what's been the most remarkable, beautiful, creative experience so far in my career." And Angela King said this is intended to be his end on the series for all the reasons that have been spoken about. He needs a little more flexibility in his life to be with his family. So the intention was that this is his end arc on the show. So Michonne's leaving as well. A lot of questions. Does she die? Does she just leave the show? And will she ever reunite with Rick? You know, her being in the Rick movies, none of that's confirmed. So will she find out about Rick? Is that why she leaves? And why does she leave? That's a big question. And leaving the kids behind, that's a big question. Lots of questions with Michonne and her exit. And AMC programming president David Madden said, I can't tell you what's going to happen in the movie, but let me just say this. I have high hopes that Rick and Michonne will cross paths again. I'll just say that. So to me, David Madden, even more than Angela and Andrew saying he won't be coming back to the show and some stuff about Michonne, her exit and stuff like that, David Madden saying he has high hopes that their paths will cross again. But of course, since Comic-Con, we've actually, in all those different interviews, they're interviewed over and over and over again from all kinds of different sources. And in all of that, we kind of got hints that Daryl and possibly others from the show could end up in the movie as well. And about the movies, Gimple has said that the first movie is from Rick's point of view, and they're developing the second and third that they're planning. They're planning 3 movies, and the first one, Gimple has already said, is from Rick's point of view, and I take that as it's a Rick movie. It's, if anything, Michonne could come in at the end, but I'm thinking it's a total Rick movie, and Michonne and even any of the other characters would venture into the second and third movies. So what are some theories around that and Michonne's exit? I'll get into that in an overall view of the show as well, a theory on kind of the first half of the show up to the mid-season finale. So let's get to Michonne and Season 10 and her exit. Let's say she lives. I think she will live. I do not think she will die. Let's say she lives. Another thing Gimple said, check this out. He was asked the question something like, will any other characters have their own stuff? And he said, yeah, there's a very good possibility. There's a very long plan ahead. But he kind of said that they probably won't get their own movies like this. He said there will be some things that cross-pollinate, but we're not going to see them fly off in their own helicopters. So there is one theory out there that Michonne gets captured by one of the helicopters or gets picked up by a helicopter. So I'm wondering if Gimple, what he said right there, means that won't happen. And that is one big theory. Even if Michonne goes off for another reason, off on that adventure, she could get picked up by the helicopter group or something. So let's say Gimple is saying that's not a possibility. The theory's still out there, but that won't be her entrance into the movies, I'm predicting. Before we dive into that first half look and Michonne's exit a little more, another thing that Angela King said, there are some things of major importance that we will learn which have massive consequences. And she said that talking about Michonne, A lot of people are speculating that she learns that Rick is still alive. So some of the other possibilities about her exit could be, the radio thing is going to be happening, which in the comic book was the Commonwealth. So all of that's going to be happening, and through that stuff could either they learn something that hints to the clues of Rick still being alive, something to the effect of Maggie's group, what happened to Maggie and her little community that was sending letters, but now that dock that Carol talked about has been abandoned for a long time. No letters have been delivered for a long time. What happened to Maggie? What happened to the community she was at?
Then we sailed down south to this dock where Oceanside's been picking up letters from Maggie. There wasn't anything there, hasn't been for a while.
Could the radio bring news of either Rick or Maggie in that sense? Okay. I don't think it's going to bring any news of Rick. It could possibly bring some news of Maggie because let's get to the point of Michonne's actual exit. I think it's going to be on a boat. This looks like her. This looks like the color of her shirt from this shot right here of her hugging Judith. The guy on the boat with her, I think it's Dante, possibly. It could be Sadiq, but I think it's Dante. And we'll go over real quick the first half of The Walking Dead Season 10 and look at it as a whole to kind of make more sense of what's going on. I think Michonne will be leaving by the mid-season finale. So my prediction is kind of based upon all of the promo stuff that we've seen so far, all of the articles, a lot of the interviews and things like that. Probably haven't seen them all. As far as the interviews, the articles, the promos, and different things that they've released to us through the social media, I think all of that is just the first half of Season 10. We haven't got any footage yet that I would predict that we've gotten from the latter half, the second half of Season 10. So I'm saying everything we've seen so far as promo material has been the first half of Season 10 up to the mid-season finale. So my prediction, all of that Silence the Whisperer stuff, a lot of the training and Oceanside training battles that they're having there, a lot of that stuff, Aaron and Negan getting together, Father Gabriel, some of Rosita and the baby, some of those predicaments. As we flash over to the Whisper side of things, I think they're going to be having their own inner turmoil, some stuff going on with them as well. That's going to play out for several episodes. It definitely looks like we've seen the character Brandon from the comic with Negan. Negan, he's been under supervision release. Even though he's been out picking tomatoes and maybe even training with Aaron and stuff, he's been supervised, and they put him back in the cell, right? He will escape with Brandon. As in the comics, he does kill Brandon, and he makes his way into the Whisperer camp. The mid-season finale could be the death of Alpha, but I think it'll be the episode before that, episode 7, and episode 8, the mid-season finale, will be Beta unleashing all the walkers onto the community, and them. We see scenes in the promos and stuff of them fighting off just all of these walkers. I do think that could be, that battle right there could be the mid-season finale caused by the death of Alpha, which probably will happen the episode before. But Michonne leaving will be because they did fight off all the walkers. All of that walker horde that was coming at them, that Beta unleashed on them, they fought them off. And it will end up that Beta disappears with the Whisperers. And they think maybe it's over. They don't know, but they don't have any trace of the Whisperers. Beta's gone. Alpha's dead. The horde has been either rerouted or all killed. And it seems like they're back safe again. And not only safe, remember in Season 9, everybody was against everybody and all that stuff. And really what's called the Whisper War doesn't start until after Alpha's death because Beta will return. They have a militia now that can fight. So why does she leave? And why does she leave the kids? It seems like if they got news from anything but Rick, someone else would go. Carol would go. Carol's a big stickler on don't leave the kids. You need to stay with the kids type mom type thinking person. So If, say, they got news from Maggie, why wouldn't maybe Carol go instead of Michonne? So that's a big, big thing of a lot of you guys are correct by saying the only reason Michonne would leave Alexandria, leave her kids, is finding out news about Rick. But I think Daryl would be right there with her. Daryl would go also. So I'm wondering, why is Michonne going, leaving the kids, and Daryl's not going? It definitely throws some questions in there, but my prediction is she hears about Maggie and she's going to go check on that situation, which then leads her to other situations out of her control, and eventually she ends up in the movies. And that could also say that Maggie may end up in the movies as well by the second movie. I also have a prediction that Michonne has a movie as well, and Maggie could be in it, and it just be on AMC, like a 1 hour special, or possibly even a 2 hour, movie, but it be on AMC with commercials. Because since the prediction is that she won't be in the first movie, what's happening during all of that time? Well, Michonne left the show. Well, she's not looking for Rick necessarily. She was looking for Maggie, and some other whole adventure happened where she got then rerouted, or then did find out something about Rick and couldn't relay the message back to Daryl and Carol and the kids and those people yet. But they will. I think Daryl will end up in the movies as well, at least by the third one. I just don't know how all of that is going to play out. And definitely don't forget that it has been a 6-year time jump since Rick's supposed death. So there's 6 years went by. What's been happening during all that time? The first Rick movie at least, if not more. And some people have theorized that Jadis could come back, and that's how Michonne finds out about Rick. Some people theorize they see another helicopter, and Father Gabriel, spills the beans, and Negan then says, yeah, I saw one with Jadis as well. And Daryl kind of says, well, I put 2 and 2 together, this and that. I bet she took Rick in a helicopter. Where did they go? And of course, no one would know that. They would have to figure that part out. Some people have even theorized that someone from Fear the Walking Dead will show back up by the end of season 10. And I know there's several other theories out there, several other ideas and proposals. Just if you have some or have heard some and think they're interesting, throw them in the comments below and let's discuss it. And anything that I've said, whether you think it's right, whether you think it's wrong, or you think it has some potential and want to flesh it out a little bit and talk about it some more, let's do that in the comments below. It's always fun to talk about. It's always fun to theorize about, and that's really what the channel is all about. But I will wrap this video up, and as always, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more dead stuff.